The rain fell hard on the metal roof of the clinic. Claire Mitchell wiped her hands on a dirty cloth and looked around the small room. 3 patients sat waiting on old chairs. A human woman held her sick child. An alien with blue skin coughed into his hand. A young girl with a broken arm sat quietly in the corner. Claire was tired. She had worked for 16 hours without stopping. Her back hurt and her eyes burned from lack of sleep. But she could not stop. These people needed her help, and she was the only doctor they could afford. Actually, she was not a real doctor. She never went to a proper medical school. She learned everything on the refugee ships when Earth fell apart 50 years ago. The human quarter was the poorest part of the city. Humans had arrived on this planet as refugees with nothing. The other alien races looked down on them. They gave humans the worst jobs in the smallest spaces to live. Claire had opened her clinic in an old storage building. The walls were cracked and the equipment was ancient. But it was all she had. She treated the woman's child first. The boy had a fever from infected water. Claire gave him medicine she had made herself from basic chemicals. Then she helped the alien with the cough. His lungs were damaged from working in the factories. She could not cure him, but she made the pain less. Finally, she set the young girl's broken arm and wrapped it carefully. None of them paid her. They had no money. Claire never asked for payment. She helped people because it was the right thing to do. When the last patient left, she sat down on the floor and closed her eyes. She was so tired she could fall asleep right there. A loud noise outside made her jump. She heard voices shouting and the sound of heavy boots on the street. Claire stood up and looked out the window. Her heart stopped. A huge shuttle had landed in the middle of the street. It was made of shining metal and covered with strange symbols. Armed guards in expensive armor stood around it. These were not local police. These were soldiers from somewhere far away. The door to her clinic burst open. A tall alien walked in. He was massive, at least 7 feet tall, with dark skin that looked like stone. He wore robes that cost more than everything Claire owned. Behind him came more guards carrying weapons. Claire stepped back. Her legs shook with fear. Had she done something wrong? Was she in trouble? The tall alien looked around the clinic with clear disgust. His eyes moved over the broken equipment and stained walls. Then he looked at Claire. His face was hard to read, but she thought she saw desperation there. He spoke in a deep voice that made the windows shake. "You are the human healer, Claire Mitchell." It was not a question. Claire nodded slowly. "Yes, I am Claire." The alien reached into his robes and pulled out a bundle wrapped in expensive cloth. He held it carefully like it was made of glass. "I am Lord Executor Vren of the Karvath Empire. I need your help. My physicians tell me there is no hope, but I heard stories about you. They say you can heal anything." He unwrapped the cloth. Inside was a small animal. It looked like a wolf puppy, but its fur was made of crystal that glowed with soft light. The puppy was breathing in short, painful gasps. Its eyes were closed and its body shook. Claire had never seen anything like it. "What is it?" "A Lunari wolf," Vren said. His voice cracked with emotion. It was a gift from King Soreth himself. "It is dying. If it dies, my honor dies with it. Please, you must save it." Claire looked at the dying puppy. She wanted to say no. She had no idea how to treat an alien animal. She barely had enough supplies to treat humans. But when she looked at the puppy, something inside her heart moved. This was a living creature in pain. She could not turn it away. "Put it on the table," she said quietly. Vren placed the puppy down with shaking hands. Claire washed her hands and put on her old gloves. She examined the puppy carefully. Its heart was beating too fast. Its breathing was wrong. The crystal fur was warm to touch and seemed to pulse with its heartbeat. "Your doctor said this was genetic?" Claire asked. Vren nodded. "Yes, they said it was born with a defect." "Nothing can be done," Claire frowned. She looked closer at the puppy's mouth and nose. She saw something the other doctors had missed. There was a strange color to its tongue. A purple tint that should not be there. "This is not genetic," she said. "This is poisoning." Vren's eyes went wide. "Poisoning? But how? Something in its food or water? I have seen this before in humans who worked in the factories. The poison builds up slowly over time." Claire moved quickly now. She knew what to do. She had treated this kind of poisoning before, but this puppy was not human. She would have to guess and hope. She grabbed her oldest piece of equipment, a dialysis machine she had fixed herself many times. It was designed for humans, but she thought she could make it work. She mixed chemicals to create a cleaning solution. Her hands did not shake now. When she worked, all her fear went away. There was only the patient and the problem. "This will take days," she told Vren. "I need to clean its blood slowly. If I go too fast, it will die. You must leave it here with me." Vren looked at the dirty clinic and then at Claire. She could see him struggling with the decision. Finally, he nodded. "I will leave guards outside. If you need anything, tell them. Money is no problem. Just save the wolf." For 3 days and 3 nights, Claire did not sleep. She stayed by the puppy's side, watching every breath, checking every heartbeat. She adjusted the dialysis machine over and over. Sometimes the puppy would cry out in pain and Claire would talk to it softly, telling it to hold on. The Karvath guard stood outside and watched through the window. They had never seen anything like this. A poor human with broken equipment fighting to save something their advanced technology could not. On the morning of the 4th day, Claire was checking the puppy when its eyes opened. They were bright and clear, the color of moonlight. The puppy looked at her and made a soft sound. Then it tried to stand up. Claire laughed. She actually laughed out loud. Tears ran down her face as she gently held the puppy down. "Not yet, little one. You need to rest more." The guards ran to get Vren. The Lord Executor arrived within the hour. When he saw the puppy awake and moving, he fell to his knees. Tears ran down his stone-like face. "You saved it," he whispered. "You saved it when no one else could." He stood and pulled out a credit chip. "Name your price. Anything you want. A new clinic. A mansion, a ship. I will give you anything." Claire looked at the credit chip. It probably held enough money to change her entire life. She could leave the human quarter. She could have real equipment. She could live like the rich aliens lived. But she shook her head. "I do not want payment. I healed the puppy because it needed help. That is all." Vren stared at her like she had spoken nonsense. "You refuse? But you must accept payment. It is our law. I owe you a debt." "I do not need payment," Claire said firmly. "Just take care of the puppy. Feed it clean food and clean water. That is enough for me." Vren looked at her for a long moment. Then he did something strange. He bowed deeply, the way someone bows to royalty. "You honor me with your kindness. I must speak with the king." He left with his guards. The puppy stayed behind, still too weak to travel. Claire fed it water and soft food. She talked to it while she worked on her other patients. The puppy seemed to listen, its crystal eyes following her everywhere. 3 days later, Vren returned. This time he came alone. He carried a message chip sealed with a royal symbol. "The king has made his decision. Since you will not accept wealth, you will accept responsibility. The Lunari wolf is yours now. It will stay with you as your companion and protector." Claire's mouth fell open. "What? But I cannot care for it. I have no money for special food or medicine. Lunari wolves do not need special care. They eat what you eat. They are not pets. They are partners." Vren knelt down and looked at the puppy. "She has chosen you, Claire Mitchell. Lunari wolves only bond with those they find worthy. No non-Karvath has ever been given this honor. The king believes you deserve it." Before Claire could argue, Vren stood and walked to the door. He paused and looked back. "One more thing. Lunari wolves are not normal animals. They understand more than you think. Treat her well. She will surprise you." Then he was gone. Claire looked down at the puppy. The puppy looked back at her with those strange, intelligent eyes. Claire sighed and sat down on the floor. "Well, I guess you need a name. How about Luna?" The puppy's tail wagged once. Claire smiled despite her confusion. What had she gotten herself into? Luna grew fast, too fast. Within 2 weeks, the tiny puppy had grown to the size of a large cat. Within a month, she was as big as a full-grown dog. Claire had never seen anything grow so quickly. The crystal fur became more beautiful each day, shimmering with colors that changed with Luna's mood. Life in the clinic changed. Luna stayed close to Claire at all times. When patients came in, Luna would sit near the door and watch them carefully. If someone was afraid, Luna would lie down and make herself look smaller. If someone was dangerous, Luna would stand up and growl softly. Claire began to trust Luna's judgment about people. The patients loved Luna. Children would ask to pet her and Luna would let them, her tail wagging gently. Old people would sit with her and feel less lonely. Even the aliens who had never seen a Lunari wolf before felt calm around her. But Claire noticed strange things. Luna seemed to understand when Claire spoke to her. Not just simple commands like sit or stay. Luna understood complicated things. When Claire said she needed to go buy medicine, Luna would wait by the door. When Claire said she was too tired to cook, Luna would nudge her toward the bed. It was like Luna could read her mind. Claire told herself she was imagining it. Animals could not read minds. But the feeling would not go away. Then came the night that changed everything. Claire had worked late treating a man who had been hurt in a factory accident. By the time she finished, it was past midnight. She fell into her small bed in the room behind the clinic and closed her eyes. Luna lay on the floor next to the bed like always. Claire was almost asleep when she heard it. A voice, soft and gentle like music. It said her name, Claire. She opened her eyes and looked around the dark room. No one was there, just her and Luna. She closed her eyes again. Maybe she had dreamed it. Claire, please do not be afraid. This time Claire sat up fast. Her heart was beating hard. The voice was inside her head. Not coming from outside. Inside. She looked down at Luna. The wolf was sitting up now, looking at Claire with those bright eyes. The crystal fur glowed softly in the darkness. And Claire knew. She knew with absolute certainty. The voice was Luna. How? Claire whispered. How are you in my head? You do not need to speak out loud. I can hear your thoughts. This is the bond. All Lunari wolves share it with their chosen companions. Claire's hand shook. She thought the words carefully. Can you really hear me? Yes, I have been able to hear you since the day you saved me, but I waited to speak until you were ready. Many humans are afraid when they first learn about the bond. Are you afraid? Claire thought about it. She should be afraid. This was impossible. Animals did not talk in your mind. But when she looked at Luna, she did not feel fear. She felt something else. Something warm and safe. No, I am not afraid. Just confused. Why did you choose me? Luna stood up and walked closer to the bed. She put her head on the mattress near Claire's hand. Because you saved me without asking for anything in return. You refused wealth when most people would have taken it. You heal others even when you have nothing for yourself. You have a pure heart, Claire. That is rare in the galaxy. Claire felt tears in her eyes. No one had ever said anything like that to her before. Most people saw her as just a poor human, someone to be pitied or ignored. What is this bond? Claire thought. It is a connection between us. We can share thoughts and feelings. Over time, the bond will grow stronger. You will be able to sense things you could not before. The bond makes both of us more than we were alone. More than we were alone. Claire lay back down and looked at the ceiling. She had been alone for so long. Ever since Earth fell and her family died on the refugee ships, she had no one left. But now she had Luna. Over the next few weeks, Claire learned more about the bond. Luna explained that Lunari wolves were not just animals. They were ancient beings who had existed long before most of the civilizations in the galaxy. They bonded with people who had good hearts and helped them become better. Claire started to notice changes in herself. When she treated patients, she could sense things she had never sensed before. She could feel when someone was lying about their symptoms. She could tell when pain was physical or emotional. She understood diseases in ways that made no logical sense but were always right. Her success rate improved. Patients who should have died got better. Diseases that should have been impossible to cure went away. Word spread through the human quarter and beyond. More people came to see her. Not just humans, but aliens from all over the city. An alien woman came with a child who had been sick for months. The other doctors had given up. They said the child would die. But Claire examined the child and felt something through the bond. She knew exactly what was wrong and how to fix it. 3 days later, the child was running around and laughing. An old man came with a disease that was eating away at his organs. Claire had no advanced technology or expensive medicine. But she had the bond. She could feel the disease inside him like it was a living thing. She knew which simple medicines would work and how to use them. The old man recovered completely. People started calling her the miracle healer. They said she had magic powers. Claire tried to tell them it was just medicine and luck, but deep inside she knew the truth. It was the bond. Luna was helping her see things no human could see alone. Are you doing this? Claire asked Luna one night. Are you making me better at healing? I am not doing anything. I am helping you do what you were always capable of. The bond opens doors inside you that were closed. It makes you see what was always there. You were a gifted healer before me, Claire. Now you are a great one. But not everyone was happy about Claire's success. The big hospitals in the rich part of the city started losing patients. People who used to pay huge amounts of money for treatment were going to the free clinic in the human quarter instead. The hospital owners were angry. The Galactic Medical Consortium controlled all the hospitals. They were rich and powerful. They decided who could practice medicine and who could not, and they did not like Claire. She had no license, no formal training. She was breaking their rules. They sent people to watch the clinic. They took notes on everything Claire did. They interviewed her patients and tried to find mistakes, but they could not find any. Everyone Claire treated got better, so they started spreading rumors instead. They said Claire was using forbidden technology. They said she was doing experiments on her patients. They said the Lunari wolf was dangerous and should be taken away. Claire heard the rumors but tried to ignore them. She had work to do. People needed help. She could not worry about what rich people in big buildings thought of her. But Luna worried. She could sense the danger growing. Through the bond, she felt Claire's anxiety and fear. One night, as they lay together in the dark, Luna spoke seriously. "They will try to stop you, Claire. They see you as a threat to their power. You must be careful. What can they do to me? I am not breaking any laws. I help people for free. Powerful people do not need laws to hurt those they fear. They will find a way. But I will protect you. That is my purpose. That is why I chose you." Claire reached out and put her hand on Luna's head. The crystal fur was warm and soft. She felt the bond between them, strong and unbreakable. Whatever came next, at least she would not face it alone. "Thank you, Luna, for choosing me, for being here. Thank you for being worthy of the choice." They fell asleep together, unaware that the next day would bring the danger Luna had warned about. They came in the morning, 5 officials from the Galactic Medical Consortium wearing expensive suits and carrying data pads. They walked into the clinic without knocking while Claire was treating a patient. The lead official was a tall alien with gray skin and no hair. He looked around the clinic with cold eyes. "Claire Mitchell, we are here to inspect your facility and review your credentials." Claire finished bandaging her patient's hand before she looked up. "I am in the middle of treating someone. Can you wait outside?" The official ignored her. He started walking around the clinic, making notes on his data pad. The other officials followed him. They touched her equipment and shook their heads. They looked at her medicine bottles and frowned. "This equipment is outdated," one of them said. "This is not safe for medical use." "These medications are not approved," another said. The lead official turned to Claire. "Where is your medical license?" "I do not have one," Claire said. "I learned medicine from experience." "Then you are practicing medicine illegally. That is a serious crime." The official's voice was hard. "We are shutting down this clinic effective immediately. If you continue to treat patients, you will be arrested." Claire felt panic rising in her chest. But these people have nowhere else to go. The hospitals are too expensive. They will die without treatment. That is not our concern. The law is the law. The official made a gesture and his team started packing up Claire's equipment. They put her medicines in boxes. They disconnected her machines. Claire stepped forward. "Stop, please. You cannot do this." That was when Luna moved. The wolf had been lying in the corner watching everything. Now she stood up and walked between Claire and the officials. She was huge now, almost as tall as a human at the shoulder. Her crystal fur blazed with light. She did not growl or show her teeth. She just stood there looking at the officials with those bright eyes. The officials froze. One of them dropped his data pad. Another stepped back with his hands raised. "Is that a Lunari wolf?" the lead official whispered. His cold expression had changed to fear. "Yes," Claire said. "She is my companion." The officials looked at each other. Everyone in the galaxy knew about Lunari wolves. They were sacred to the Karvath Empire, one of the most powerful civilizations. To harm someone protected by a Lunari wolf was to make an enemy of the entire empire. The lead official cleared his throat. "We will file our report and return with proper authorization. Do not leave the city." He and his team rushed out of the clinic, leaving Claire's equipment scattered on the floor. Claire sat down on the floor. Her legs would not hold her up anymore. Luna came and lay beside her, pressing her warm body against Claire's side. "They are afraid of you," Claire thought through the bond. "But they will come back with more power next time. Yes, they will find a way around me. They will use politics and laws. But they will not stop." Luna's mental voice was sad. "You are too much of a threat to their business. What can I do? I am just one person. You are not alone." Remember that. Over the next week, things got worse. The consortium launched a campaign against Claire. They put stories on the news saying she was dangerous. They said she was experimenting on patients without their knowledge. They said the Lunari wolf was a weapon that should be confiscated. People started to believe the lies. Patients stopped coming to the clinic. Her neighbors began avoiding her. Some people threw rocks at her windows at night. Children who used to play with Luna now ran away when they saw her. Claire felt herself breaking. She had spent years helping people, and now they turned against her because of lies. She sat in her empty clinic and cried. Luna lay beside her, sharing her pain through the bond. "I am sorry. This is my fault. If I had not chosen you, you would be safe." "No, do not say that. You are the best thing that ever happened to me." Claire put her arms around Luna's neck. "I just do not know how to fight this. They are too powerful." Then came the worst night. Claire woke to the sound of breaking glass. She jumped out of bed and ran into the clinic. 3 masked figures were inside, carrying metal bars and firebombs. They had already smashed her equipment and started a fire in the corner. "Get out," one of them yelled when he saw Claire. "This is your only warning." Luna exploded into the room like lightning. She moved so fast Claire barely saw her. One attacker was thrown against the wall before he could react. Another tried to hit Luna with his metal bar, but Luna dodged and knocked him down with one paw. The third one ran for the door, but Luna was faster. She blocked his path and growled, showing her teeth for the first time. The 3 attackers scrambled out of the clinic and disappeared into the night, but the damage was done. The fire was spreading. Claire grabbed a water container and tried to put it out, but it was too big. Within minutes, half her clinic was destroyed. Her equipment was melted. Her medicines were burned. Everything she had worked for was gone. She stood in the ruins and felt something inside her break. She had tried so hard. She had helped so many people. And this was her reward: destruction and hatred. Luna came to her side, limping slightly. One of the attackers had hit her leg, but she did not complain. She just pressed against Claire, sharing strength through the bond. "We cannot stay here. It is not safe." Luna's mental voice was firm. "We need help. Where can we go?" "No one will help us." Claire felt hopeless. "The Karvath will help. I can call them." Luna closed her eyes and Claire felt something strange through the bond. It was like a signal being sent out faster than light across the stars. A call for help that only other Lunari wolves and their Karvath companions could hear. Within hours, a message came. Lord Executor Vren wanted to speak with Claire. He appeared on a communication screen, his face angry. "I heard what happened. This is an insult to the Karvath Empire. You are under our protection and they attacked you anyway." Vren's voice shook with rage. "King Soreth demands your presence on the homeworld. We will get justice for this." Claire was afraid. She had never been off Viridian Prime. She had never met a king. But what choice did she have? Stay here and wait for the next attack? "I will come," she said quietly. "A ship will arrive tomorrow. Pack only what you need. The king will provide everything else." Vren paused. "You saved Luna's life. Now we will save yours." That night, Claire packed her few belongings in a small bag. She looked around the ruins of her clinic one last time. All her work was destroyed. But maybe, just maybe, there was still hope. Luna sat beside her, calm and strong. Through the bond, Claire felt Luna's confidence. The wolf believed everything would be okay. Claire tried to believe it too. Tomorrow they would leave for the Karvath homeworld. Tomorrow everything would change again. Claire did not know if she was ready, but with Luna by her side she would face whatever came next. The Karvath warship was bigger than any building Claire had ever seen. It hung in the sky above Viridian Prime like a floating city made of metal and light. When the shuttle came to pick up Claire and Luna, people stopped in the streets to stare. No one from the human quarter had ever traveled on a Karvath ship before. Inside the ship, everything was beautiful and clean. The walls glowed softly with their own light. The floors were smooth and warm. Soldiers in perfect armor bowed to Claire as she passed. They treated her like someone important. A young Karvath officer showed Claire to her room. It was bigger than her entire clinic had been. The bed was soft and covered with expensive fabrics. There was a window that looked out into space, showing the stars streaming past as the ship traveled faster than light. "If you need anything, just ask," the officer said. He looked at Luna with deep respect. "It is an honor to have you both aboard." When he left, Claire sat on the bed and tried not to cry. Everything was too much. Just days ago, she had been sleeping on a thin mattress in a burned clinic. Now she was on a warship traveling to meet a king. Luna jumped onto the bed beside her. You deserve this, Claire. You deserve to be treated well. I am just a healer. I am nobody special. You are wrong. You are very special. You will see, the journey took 3 days. During that time, Claire met other Karvath warriors. They all wanted to hear the story of how she saved Luna. They asked her questions about Earth and humans. Some of them had never met a human before. They were surprised that she was so much like them, with the same fears and hopes. When the ship finally arrived at the Karvath homeworld, Claire pressed her face against the window and gasped. The planet was covered in forests and crystal cities that caught the sunlight and threw it back in 1,000 colors. Mountains touched the clouds and rivers of pure blue water cut through valleys. It was the most beautiful thing she had ever seen. They landed near the capital city. As Claire stepped off the ship, she saw Lunari wolves everywhere. They walked beside Karvath warriors, their crystal fur shimmering. Some were playing in the grass. Others were resting in the shade of huge trees. They all looked up when Luna appeared and made soft, welcoming sounds. Luna responded with her own musical howl. Through the bond, Claire felt Luna's joy at being among her own kind again. Lord Executor Vren was waiting for them. He bowed deeply to Claire. Welcome to our homeworld. The king is eager to meet you. But first you should rest and eat. The council meeting is tomorrow. That night, Claire stayed in a guest house near the palace. It was simple but comfortable. She could hear strange nightbirds singing outside and smell flowers she had no name for. Luna lay beside her bed, calm and content. Are you nervous about tomorrow? Luna asked. Yes, very nervous. What if I say something wrong? What if the king thinks I am not worthy of you? The king already knows you are worthy. That is why he summoned you. Tomorrow you will learn something important, Claire. Something about humans and about yourself. What do you mean? You will see. Sleep now. You will need your strength. The next morning, Vren came to escort Claire to the palace. The building was enormous, made of white stone and crystal that seemed to grow out of the ground naturally. Inside, the halls were filled with light and the sound of water running in fountains. They entered the Grand Council chamber. It was a huge circular room with a high ceiling. Members of the High Council sat on raised seats around the edges. In the center was a throne made of living wood that still had green leaves growing on it. On the throne sat King Soreth. The king was tall and powerful-looking, with skin like dark stone and eyes that glowed with inner fire. He wore simple robes despite his position. When he saw Luna, he smiled. When he looked at Claire, his expression became curious and kind. Claire Mitchell, he said in a voice that filled the room. Welcome to our homeworld. Luna has told us much about you through the bond network that connects all Lunari wolves. Claire bowed, not sure what else to do. Thank you, Your Majesty. I am honored to be here. You are here because you were attacked. The Galactic Medical Consortium tried to destroy you because you threatened their profits. This is unacceptable. The king's voice became hard. But before we address that crime, I must tell you something. Something that will change how you see yourself and your species. He stood up and walked down to where Claire stood. Up close, he was even more impressive. But his eyes were gentle. Lunari wolves are ancient, he said. They have existed for millions of years, long before my people built our first cities. They travel the galaxy searching for beings with pure hearts. Over time, they have bonded with thousands of individuals from many species. But they are very selective. Most species fail their test without knowing they were tested. Claire listened, not understanding where this was going. Humans arrived in our galaxy 50 years ago. The king continued. The wolves have been watching your species since then. They were unsure about you. Humans are emotional and chaotic. You fight among yourselves. You make mistakes. Many of us thought humans would never pass the test. He put his hand on Luna's head. The wolf closed her eyes with pleasure. But Luna chose you. She is the first Lunari wolf to bond with a human. Do you understand what that means? Claire shook her head, her throat tight. It means humans have passed the test. Your species is worthy. You refused wealth when you saved Luna. You healed others without asking for payment. You demonstrated selflessness that is rare anywhere in the galaxy. Luna's choice to bond with you was a declaration to all wolves. Humans are ready. The king gestured to the council. Already other wolves are seeking humans to bond with. Not all humans will be chosen. Only those with pure hearts. But enough bonds will form to change your species forever. You are the first, Claire. You are showing the galaxy what humans can become. Claire could not speak. Tears ran down her face. All her life she had felt like nothing. Just a poor refugee trying to survive. And now a king was telling her she represented the potential of her entire species. "That is why the consortium attacked you," the king said. "They fear what you represent. A human with abilities that surpass their technology. A human who helps others for free. You are a threat to their system of profit and power." He raised his voice so the whole council could hear. But they made a mistake. They attacked someone under Karvath protection. They attacked the first human keeper of the Lunari. This insult will not stand. The council members stood and raised their fists in agreement. Claire felt overwhelmed by their support. Officials from the Galactic Medical Consortium were brought in. They looked small and afraid standing before the Karvath Council. Under questioning, they admitted everything. They had spread lies about Claire. They had hired the attackers to destroy her clinic. They had done it to protect their profits. The king's judgment was swift. The consortium would be fined and forbidden from operating on Karvath worlds. Their leaders would face criminal charges. And most importantly, Claire would be given a new title: First Keeper of the Lunari, Protector of those who heal without asking for reward. Claire stood there in shock as the council cheered. She had come here as a victim seeking justice. She was leaving as a symbol of hope for her entire species. That night, Luna spoke to her through the bond. "Now do you see? You were never nobody. You were always destined for this. I am scared, Luna. I do not know how to be what they want me to be. Just be yourself. That is all you need to be. The rest will come." Claire returned to Viridian Prime 3 months later. But she was not the same person who had left. She wore simple clothes like always, but now they were made of fine material, gifted by the Karvath. She walked with confidence instead of fear. And beside her, Luna was fully grown, magnificent and powerful. The human quarter had changed too. The consortium had been forced to leave the planet. Their corrupt practices were exposed to the whole galaxy. New hospitals opened that charged fair prices. But none of them could compete with what Claire was about to build. With support from the Karvath Empire and donations from across the galaxy, Claire built a new medical center where her old clinic had stood. It was 10 times bigger, with modern equipment and clean rooms. But it kept the same principle: free treatment for anyone who needed it. Volunteers came from everywhere to help. Alien doctors who were tired of working for profit. Engineers who wanted to build something meaningful. Teachers who wanted to train new healers. The center became a symbol of hope, a place where different species worked together for the good of all. But the most amazing change was in the humans themselves. Other Lunari wolves had begun to seek out humans to bond with. Not many, and not just any human. Only those who showed the same selflessness that Claire had shown. Only those with pure hearts. A young human man named Peter who ran a shelter for homeless aliens was chosen by a wolf. A woman named Lisa, who taught orphaned children for no pay, was chosen by another. An old man named George, who spent his days planting trees in the damaged areas of the city, was chosen by a third. Each bond changed the human involved. They became more than they were before, their natural gifts enhanced by the ancient wisdom of the wolves. Peter could sense when people were in danger before it happened. Lisa could understand any language after hearing it once. George could make plants grow faster and healthier with just his touch. Claire became a teacher to these new keepers. She showed them how to use the bond without being overwhelmed by it. She taught them to stay humble and remember why they were chosen. Most importantly, she taught them that the bond was not about power. It was about service. Together, they established free clinics and shelters and schools across the galaxy, each one run by a human bonded with a Lunari wolf, each one dedicated to helping others without asking for anything in return. The movement grew slowly but steadily. Other species began to see humans differently. Before, humans had been refugees, the poorest and weakest in the galaxy. Now they were becoming known as the caring ones, the helpers, the ones who would sacrifice their own comfort for others. It was not all humans, of course. Many humans were still selfish or cruel, but enough had changed to shift the perception of the entire species. Years passed. Claire's hair started to show gray. Luna's crystal fur became even more beautiful with age. They worked together every day, healing the sick and training new keepers. The bond between them had grown so strong that sometimes Claire could not tell where her thoughts ended, and Luna's began. They were two beings sharing one purpose. One evening, Claire sat in her office at the medical center. She had just finished treating a child who had been given up for dead by other doctors. The child was sleeping now, breathing normally, already getting better. Through the window, Claire could see the sunset painting the sky orange and purple. Luna lay beside her desk, resting after a long day. Through the bond, Claire felt Luna's contentment and pride. We have done well, Luna thought. So many lives saved, so many people helped. We could not have done it without you, Claire thought back. You changed my life that first night when you called my name. You made me believe I was worth something. You were always worth something. I just helped you see it. That is what the bond does. It shows us the truth about ourselves. Luna stood up and walked over to rest her head on Claire's lap. And the truth is that humans are special. Not because you are strong or smart, but because you can rise above your own pain to help others. That is a rare gift. Claire stroked Luna's crystal fur. It was warm and smooth under her fingers. She thought about the scared, poor woman she had been when this all started. She had felt so small and powerless back then. Now she was known across the galaxy. Statues had been made in her honor. Songs were sung about her story, but the statues and songs did not matter to her. What mattered was the child sleeping in the next room who would live to see tomorrow. What mattered were the people walking past her office window, healthy and happy because someone had cared enough to help them for free. What mattered was the bond she shared with Luna, this perfect connection that had given meaning to her entire life. Do you remember that first night? Claire thought, when you spoke to me in the darkness, I was so afraid. I remember. You thought you were dreaming. Luna's mental voice was warm with affection, but you were not afraid for long. You trusted me. That trust is why our bond is so strong. I will always trust you. You are the best friend I ever had, and you are mine. We are bonded, Claire, now and forever. Nothing can break that. They sat together in comfortable silence as the sun finished setting and stars began to appear. Outside, the city came alive with lights. Somewhere in that city, other humans bonded with Lunari wolves were doing the same work Claire did. Healing, teaching, building, making the galaxy a little better, one person at a time. Claire thought about the future. More humans would be chosen by the wolves. More free clinics would open. More lives would be saved. The movement she started would grow beyond anything she could imagine. And all because she had refused to accept payment for saving a dying puppy. Such a small choice had led to such big changes. It made her wonder what other humans were capable of if they just chose kindness over profit, service over selfishness, love over fear. Maybe that was the real lesson the Lunari wolves were teaching. That greatness did not come from power or wealth. It came from choosing to care about others even when you had nothing for yourself. It came from staying kind in a harsh galaxy. It came from refusing to let cruelty and greed win. A knock on the door pulled Claire from her thoughts. A young woman entered, nervous and excited. Behind her walked a Lunari wolf puppy, its crystal fur just starting to grow. Keep her Claire, the woman said, using the formal title. I was just chosen. The bond formed last night. I heard her call my name and I was so scared but also happy, and I do not know what to do. And everyone said I should come to you for guidance. Claire smiled. She remembered feeling exactly the same way. Sit down, she said gently. Tell me your name and your story. I will help you understand what it means to be chosen. As the young woman began to talk, Luna settled back down on the floor. Through the bond, Claire felt Luna's satisfaction. This was how it would continue. One person at a time, one bond at a time, one act of kindness at a time, and slowly, the galaxy would change. Not through war or conquest, but through compassion. Through humans showing everyone else that the strongest force in the universe was not weapons or money. It was the choice to care about someone else more than yourself. That night, after the young woman left, Claire lay in her bed with Luna beside her. The wolf was too big to fit on the bed anymore, but she always slept close. Her warmth a constant comfort. Claire closed her eyes and felt the bond wrapping around them both like a blanket. Thank you for calling my name that night, she thought to Luna. Thank you for choosing me when I had nothing to offer you. You had everything to offer me, Luna replied. You had a pure heart. That is all I needed. Claire drifted off to sleep with a smile on her face. Tomorrow there would be more patients to heal, more keepers to train, more work to do. But tonight she was content. She had found her purpose. She had found her family in Luna. and together they had shown the galaxy what humans could be, not powerful or wealthy, not the strongest or the smartest, but kind, compassionate, willing to sacrifice for others. That was humanity's true strength. That was what made them worthy in the eyes of the ancient wolves. And that was the legacy Claire would leave behind. As she slept, Luna kept watch like she always did. The wolf's crystal fur glowed softly in the darkness, a beacon of light and hope, and through the bond that connected them, both dreamed of a better future for all beings in the galaxy. A future built on kindness. A future worth fighting for. A future that began the night a poor human healer received a wolf pup from a king and heard it cry her name in the darkness.